Hello YouTube, Mariette here. Today is Saturday the 14th, I believe, and as you can all see, I am still here at my retreat. Um, but um, but I will have to reintegrate my marital home by Monday night, and I'm not looking forward to going back at all. I am very apprehensive. I wish I didn't have to see that man's face ever again. I'm not scared of him. I just wish I was in a position of, you know, just not have to deal with him anymore. I do feel anguished and I do feel anxiety of the thought of having to come up with elaborate fake expressions and prepare myself, to have pre-prepared answers for possible scenarios when I get back home. When I actually left my house almost a month ago, over a month ago, my daughter actually was there, and she did something that was very, very, very strange. She said goodbye to me in a very, very, very sweet voice, and her voice was overly sugared, and her expression was just so full of concern. And basically she just said to me, after I said, I'm just gonna have to go, I'm leaving because I'm going to a retreat and stuff like that, she just went and said, "Oh Mom, I hope you feel better." And her voice was so full of concern and so sugar sweet. It was just strange because normally she speaks to me as if I am just a big pile of poop. So when she did that, he automatically raised my alarm system. But the funny thing is, I couldn't help but respond to her, my heart. It's really just my heart that just melted. The non-physical part of me really ran towards her and hugged her, while I responded to her as graciously as I possibly can, but I was on guard. And after I left, after I departed my home, I was left feeling torn between the need to believe in her sincerity and at the same time knowing that anything that my daughter says and does is really just to gather information so she could pass them on to her father. So I had to keep repeating myself that truth over and over and over just to help me remain rooted in reality rather than dream that she would be experiencing, suddenly a change of heart toward me. And this is an example of how there is such a break between the way my heart responds and the way my mind as well deals with reality. It's not pleasant for me to find myself always in that kind of situation where there's just my environment just prevents me to be in harmony, to find harmony between my heart and my head, to be in harmony. It's I'm really looking forward to not have to experience this. So this type of exchange I just described here is exactly what I've been afraid all this time. about my future relationship between my children and I. Because the way I see it, even if there was some major miraculous way that my daughter and my son were to suddenly see the light and believe me and change their behavior towards me, I will still have a very, very hard time trusting them. And and I would even say that it's actually easier if they were to continue as they are. Because if they actually change and become nice, I'll be even more suspicious to them, be even more suspicious of their behavior towards me. And those children know me well enough to know that my response to them, will be, is contrived and not real either. I am somebody who normally I can be very animated. I tease a lot. I make small jokes here and there, and I'm normally extremely enthusiastic. So don't think I'll be able to fool them, and that will make for very, very awkward, weird, and very unnatural type of relationship between them and I. And to see the beginning of this reality forming, to me is just it just announces another success for my wolf right now in the present and as well as in the future. He has won. He doesn't have to be there. He doesn't have to see that happen. He doesn't have to witness this happen all the time to know that he has succeeded in the plan that in the plan he had created, and in the work that he patiently started a decade ago. And you'll know as well that years from now, even a decade from now, even if he was to drop dead, his shadow will always hang over my kids and I's relationship. And this makes me feel angry. There's going to be so much work, not just on my behalf, but on the children's behalf. And it might never even be completely normal ever again. And this makes me sad and angry at the same time. Anyway, let me explain why I feel I have to go back to that house, because I know quite a lot of you really want me to just quit it and leave as quickly as I possibly can. And trust me, I understand and I feel exactly the same way. But I truly feel that I have to think about this as rationally as I possibly can. I have to, the reasons for me for choosing to go back are twofold. One reason is financial, and the second reason is strategic. And when I go back, I will have also to play nice, I will have to play nice and pretend so that it doesn't freeze me out financially just yet. For the last 4 months, for example, he has already started depositing less and less money in our joint account every month. And of course, it's getting worse because I am not even discussing that matter. I am not confronting him about it, which makes things worse. It's just the usual situation where he always manages to put me between a rock and a hard place, because I know what he wants from me is for me to confront him so that there is an escalation of some sort, or some arguments or something. He wants a reaction from me. Until I give him that reaction, he will purposefully just keep getting worse. So in the meantime, I have to play the diplomat and just not give in, really, you know, to live in our joint account. So for now, I intend to go back around 8 or 9 p.m. Around 8 or 9 in the evening on Monday night or Tuesday night at the most, with the hope that everyone will be present when I get there. And the reason for that is I want to be able to signal that I will no longer be staying in my bedroom, for one, and also by doing that, by me coming into the house while they are there, you know, even if I have to say hello first, there will still going to be a certain amount of it's a small shift, very, very subtle shift in power structure as it stands, to shift subtly the power balance within the house, by me not coming in, reintegrating the house while they're away. I want to do that while they're there, so they can see me coming in the house and they can acknowledge me. To me, psychologically, it is important. I can see it as well as a psychological power play on my part. Going inside the house when nobody's there, I don't feel puts me in a position of strength, even if it is a fake type of power, or maybe not power, but of asserting myself. I still feel it's extremely important for me to do that. So for now, I'm still here, and despite the cost associated with the decision that I took to stay here in the motel, you know, I don't regret it at all. Unfortunately, the bill is now, you know, contributing factor that is going to force me to stay even longer in the grips of my wolf, because the way I see it, it'll be better for me to try as hard as I can to leave my wolf with no credit card debt. I want to be able to clear those debts that I'm actually incurring at the moment, you know, while I'm staying here in this motel, because I'm going to need as much funds and credit finances as I can, you know, to finance a new beginning, which is going to be a far cry from what I'm used to. For me, I'm actually lucky that here in the state where I live, cheap homes are accessible. So I'm thinking of purchasing a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom, probably in a very impoverished area, you know, like far away from big stores, facilities, and parks, like I am used to. And even if I was to find a home in a very, very dangerous area, I'll still buy that place, if the price is right. Just because I'm running out of time, I'm getting tired as well, and like you all, most of you keep saying to me, I do need to get out of my wolf grasp. But I just don't feel that I have the luxury to wait for something that might come around at you know, something that is going to come around that is going to be more suitable for me. So that's another thing as well that's not very pleasant. I know you're away from big stores, facilities, and parks. like I am used to. And even if I was to find a home in a very in a dangerous area, I'll still buy that place, if the price is right. Just because I'm running out of time, I'm getting tired as well, and like you all, most of you are keep saying to me, I do need to get out of my my wolf grasp. But I just don't feel that I have the luxury to wait for something that might come around at something that is going to come around that is going to be more suitable for me. So that's another thing as well that's not very pleasant. But I certainly feel that I have to do that, and the reason why I prefer to buy rather than rent a place of my own is simply because why not? Because they are kind of affordable where, around here. And also I strongly feel that I basically just want to be able to take as long as I can afford. I want to be able to take as long as I can afford time by myself before I start looking for a job. And being alone will help me heal faster and strengthen myself before I can brave the world in a way that is going to be very foreign to me. And most especially, it will give me being alone, having a place of my own where I don't have to run and worry about making payments every month at the end of the month and getting a job all too soon when I'm still still very weak. Will give me the strength not only just to heal but to strengthen myself as well, because in not very long I will have to face my wolf in court, and I'm sure he'll be displaying a new level of crazy that I might not even recognize at all. So I want that place where I need a place of my own that I own outright, and I don't have to worry about paying rent every month and making the money for that every month. I hope you understand what I'm trying here to say. Someone actually wrote in the comment section that I had enough proofs and it was time to lawyer up and get the hell out of my marriage. And another person actually commented as well that I should be able to find lawyers who have experience dealing with narcissists and psychopaths around my area. And for some reason, those comments galvanized me to get things started. I just realized that actually I was in the best place while being over here in the hotel to visit as many lawyers as I could afford without attracting attention. Because remember, my daughter doesn't doesn't go to school anymore. She sleeps all day or hangs around in the house all day, literally. So if she was to start seeing me coming and going all the time, she'll be reporting that to my husband, and I have to try to be as discreet as I possibly can, as you can imagine. So unfortunately, no. So I started Googling things up, and the weird thing is, a few months ago, I did research all of those things, lawyers lawyers and even homes, but I just didn't pursue any of those leads because they just were not satisfying. I didn't find anything concrete that made me, I guess I just wasn't ready for it. And this time I followed links from articles written by lawyers in my state, and I contacted Avo as well, which is an online website who can put you in direct contact with lawyers anywhere at the cost of, I think it's $30 or $35 for about 15 minutes on the phone. And I had already contacted them as well months ago. But this time what I did, instead of just, putting a random search, I concentrated on reading reviews left by other satisfied customers to help me identify lawyers who can fit, my criteria and what I need, which is obviously somebody who has some experience fighting personality disorder. And so I made some calls and set up appointments, and I was very lucky to be able to see a few lawyers the very next day and the day after and the following day after that. So that was really, really good. All of them were very nice, and some consultations were free. Some ranged from $300 to $350 per hour. And despite my best intention, I feel I've wasted an awful lot of time, telling them my story. I try to be brief as possible, but I still, gave them the highlights of my abuse and why I wanted a divorce, and really, even though it was a waste of my money and maybe I didn't ask as many questions as I should have, not that I knew what to ask anyway, but I still felt that I needed to do that because it is really the only way to judge if they are a right fit for me, depending on their responses and their feedback to the story I gave them. For example, a female lawyer told me to consider marriage counseling, and this is even after she shared her own abusive relationship story and how she felt she had no choice but to escape with her small children at the time. Another example I had is another lawyer kept reassuring me that everything will be taken care of and I shouldn't worry. And after a while, I just felt like he was trivializing it. I just felt he wasn't taking my concerns too seriously. I just didn't feel that connection at all. He didn't connect with my story, if you want. Another lawyer told me that she totally understood everything, but she could see that my case would be very demanding, and she knew that she couldn't take me on just now because not only did she work by herself, she said, I am a one-woman show, and also she had a small child that she had to take care of. So she knew that she will not be able to help me as much as she thinks I will be needing her. So I was very grateful for her honesty. And then I had another lawyer who seemed to know immediately what I was talking about. I told her things that, you know, even here on YouTube, I just don't feel, it's not that I don't feel comfortable telling you. I do, but I choose not to say certain things here just because I want to preserve a certain amount of privacy for my children's sake, because it is still their story, and it's not, you know, there are certain things that I just cannot disclose because, you know, they're gonna grow up, and God knows, maybe my videos are gonna be found by one of their friend one day. You know, my voice is actually kind of easy to identify, and some of my earlier videos were not as faceless as it should have been. So I have to think about their future, and yeah. So, but anyway, when I met her, you know, I told her those things freely, and because obviously if she represents me, and I need her to know exactly the kind of person that I'm dealing with, and just how far some of the stuff that he has done has affected the children and the children's behavior. So she didn't flinch, she didn't discount anything that I said. She even admitted to being a recovering jerk herself, which made me laugh. She explained that she was the product of 2 alcoholic parents, and because of that, she had to have years of therapy herself. Which helped her reassess how she viewed the world and how she interacted with people. She went on as far as explaining to me the process by which I would start to trust again and potentially meet another love, even if I couldn't see it now. And of course I was like, no way, no, yeah, I've got too much to do, that kind of thing, no. And she was like, no. She said, I understand that you don't see it just now, but you know, it will happen. She said that there will be a good chance that I will eventually meet and open up to a friend. It could easily be just a female friend that will probably betray me again, because she said that those kind of things, you can't really protect yourself from that, and more often than not it happens. But she said, you know, not to give up. I'll meet other, I shouldn't despair, because there'll be other people, other friendships that I'll have that will help me to learn to trust again. It was quite something listening to her. I really felt like she was telling me my fortune or something like that. But while I was listening to her saying all of those things, I was just a puddle of sweat and tears, you know, while I was sitting in her office. And that was quite an experience. She also gave me a list of different therapists to contact. She mentioned that I should check to see if my insurance would cover the cost of those, you know, of seeing a therapist. And because I did say, you know, because she insisted that I needed to really be followed by a therapist. And I said to her that, you know, it'll be a great thing, but I don't think I can afford that. And then she said, well, you know, you do have, as long as you have insurance, you should be covered. And then I realized that I never even thought about that ever. It never crossed my mind that, of course, you'll be covered, at least a good portion of it. And she also mentioned that I will be experiencing PTSD at some point, if it wasn't already occurring. She also gave me books to read. One of the books she gave me, she actually co-authored herself with a therapist who also live here in our town. So I was very, very surprised and delighted. I haven't had the chance to take a look at those books just yet, but I'll get on it quite soon, because I will have to try to read as much as I possibly can before I go back to my house, because those are books and paperwork that I'll have to leave inside my storage room, because I can't have those things laying around in my house just in case. And truly, that lawyer blew me away, and I felt great about her until she said that the court system is fair, that the judges are all fair, and she doesn't know anyone who has been allowed to drag on divorces for years and stuff like that, and that usually, you know, you get alimony, and, you know, she just started talking in a way that just... And you know, once she started going on that tangent, I didn't like that at all. I just didn't, because it reminded me of being gaslighted all over again. You know, always being put in a situation where I am forced to battle two different types of beliefs. I have those information. She's giving me information that just doesn't match what I'm seeing on the internet. I mean, you know, there are so many articles out there that have been written by people divorcing narcissists, and some of those articles are as recent as 2016, and they describe just how the court system encourages the shenanigans of those narcissists, and most of the time, having proof doesn't even guarantee fairness when dealing with those narcopaths in the court system. So when she went on to say that, you know, the court system is fair and all of those things, you know, it's just, I just couldn't take it. I just couldn't take it. And all the lawyers I saw had more or less the same line. They said the same thing. It will be okay, and everything will be fair. And now I just don't know whether they say that just to appear competent, or they truly believe what they're saying. I just don't like that. You know, I just want someone who can just tell me, this is what you need. The first step you need to take is such and such. The second step is such and such, and then you have to do the third step, which is such and such. And doing so will put you in an advantageous situation, as opposed to you doing this. And those are the reasons because. And I felt like I never got that. They all had that same cookie cut type of formula. For me, you know, I look at lawyers, and especially, you know, an awful lot of them have been practicing for a very long time. So you would think that they would have enough experience to already have an established strategy, plan, or routine for the different types of cases that come across their paths. In my case, it is obvious I am dealing with with the hiding of liquid assets as well as emotional abuse. So you would think that they will have some concrete advice on how to initiate this kind of divorce in the most strategic way. To block my will, for instance, from putting me in a more disadvantaged situation than I already am. I made sure to express to them, to each and every single one of them, my concerns, and that I felt that filing, being the first one to file for the divorce, could legally prevent my wolf from making money disappear. In response, all of them said it's impossible nowadays for money to just disappear without a trace. They also said that a TRO, which I think, if I remember it correctly, is a temporary restriction order. They said that that would take care of preventing legally my wolf from stop paying our common bills and stuff like that. But at the same time, they also explained that if my husband wanted to ignore the court order, well, no one could stop him, and there'll be no one as well to reinforce that legal document also. And at the most, it will just make him look bad to the judges, and that's all. And God knows that those people, they don't care if they look bad to people if they feel they have nothing to lose, So hearing that from them just wasn't reassuring at all to me. It just wasn't at all. And the other thing as well is that I had to ask that question to even be told about those options, which to me is just not a good sign at all. Because being new at this means that there are loads of questions that I should be asking, and I just don't know what they are. And it feels like unless I ask, those informations are not going to be coming, those information are not going to be forwarded to me either.